Happy Friday! So, sometimes we don't know what perspective to take, right? All week long, we've been talking perspective. We figured out why perspective is important so we can control our outcomes. Then we talked about identifying and changing our perspective. But what do we change it to? Today, we're rounding off the week with me sharing some empowering perspectives to help you hopefully move forward, that help me move forward. So, what points of view are helpful? In other words, what serves you? I hate that term, or I used to hate that term because I didn't really understand it, but I really think of it simply like this. Is this viewpoint helping you be the person you want to be, or preventing you from being the person you want to be? And it's really one or the other, right? It's either part of the problem or part of the solution. So I know firsthand how hard it is to shift a perspective that feels so true to you, because time and again, it's been proven, you've seen it happen throughout your life, throughout your friend's life, throughout your family's life, and you feel like it's true. You've seen the proof. So to start off empowering perspectives, here are some perspectives I take on perspective. First, just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it'll happen that way in the future. And I know, this person, that person, your mama, this time, that time. But what if? Perspective, the power of perspective is that it's a choice. And you can choose not to believe that the next time has to be like this time, that things can be different. So just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it has to happen this time. That is a very empowering perspective, especially when you're looking to do things or believe in things that you haven't seen and no one around you has done. Right? The next one is you don't know what you don't know. So this always makes me roll my eyes because I'm a know-it-all, but the only thing that takes me off my high horse of Miss Know-it-all is knowing that there's so much more to learn. So that's super helpful with keeping my perspective broadened with the idea that you don't know what you don't know. So there could be another perspective, there could be another way, right? So those two things are really helpful for keeping the right perspective on perspective when it's hard to shift into thinking differently. Here are some more categories and points of view that I take that I found very empowering and help me be the person I want to be now and in the future. So, hard times and struggles, aka yesterday, today, and likely tomorrow. The perspective I take, or perspectives I like to take, is I love a challenge versus this is so hard and I'm so tired because this is so hard and I am so tired. And this is for the valleys, because challenges make me feel strong. They make me feel powerful. And I like to remind myself this when it feels like a heavy load. It's like, you got this. You love a challenge. Another perspective I like to keep during hard times and struggles is all things are working for my growth. So personal growth is a value of mine. Always growing, you're either growing or dying. So when I look at hard times as growth, it keeps me curious. It keeps me open-minded. Overall, I try to see and look at all hard times and struggles and situations that are uncomfortable and feel quote-unquote bad. I try to understand, how is this happening for me, versus thinking, God, everything's happening to me, because it feels like it, right? It feels like it's just coming at you. But how is it happening for you? It opens up your perspective. It helps you to try to find meaning in the chaos, right? So those are the perspectives I like to take during hard times and struggles. When it comes to people, I like to take the perspective of everyone is doing the best that they can. This helps me be more empathetic and stop blaming, and remind myself that we really are, products of our environment, of our past, of our stories, of our fears. So everyone is doing the best that they can. How people act is a reflection of them, and sometimes I need to remind myself, not me. So this is a reminder not to take people's reactions personally, like the people who are actually in front of you doing things or reacting in ways that are either surprising or uncomfortable or just make you feel bad. And it's helpful for the world at large, that everyone is coming from their own place, and that's, they are dealing with their shit and projecting, and their shit is what's coming out of their mouth. So you don't have to take that personally. And then the last one is, the light I see in them is a reflection of the light I see in me. And honestly, this is to quell that comparison monster. The comparison of wishing you could do that, of wanting to be in that place, of wanting to do that thing. It's reminding me that, yep, I am working on that. I love that they get to do that, and one day I'll be able to do that too. Yeah, just reminding me that the thing that I am, they have one of the things that I'm working for, and kudos to them, and looking at it as inspiration. So those are some perspectives I like to take on people that are empowering. And then finally, myself. So the first one is, I always did the best I could. I don't believe in mistakes. I really do believe we all are doing the best that we can, but that doesn't stop me from overanalyzing my past and being annoyed that I'm not where I am faster. And that idea, I always did the best that I could, is reminding me not to judge past Franny. Past Franny was doing her very best, just like this Franny's doing, right? So cutting my past self some slack, and not overanalyzing all the mistakes I made and how things should have been different, right? I always did the best that I could. I know what's best for me. This challenges me not to look for answers externally, right? It reminds me that the only way to know what's right, and to know what's next, and to know what's best, is to go within. So I know what's best for me. Next is, I know how to get shit done. It needs to be a reminder, like, yes, I want to do it gracefully. Yes, I want to do it perfectly. Yes, I want to do it beautifully and excellently. But, God damn it, I get shit done. I always do. I always have. I always will, right? And finally, that person may have pushed your button, but they didn't create it. So this is that reflection of how people act as a reflection of them, how I act as a reflection of me. And so when people say things and do things that trigger me, I want my feelings to be their fault. And there are lots of reasons, and you can blame all day. And yes, there are stacks of things piled against all of us, right? But when I'm triggered by something, it reminds me to take accountability and understand that while that person or that thing pushed my button and triggered me, it's my trigger, it's my button. I need to take accountability for how I'm going to react, and do I need to understand that? Do I need to dig deeper? So those are the perspectives I like to take about myself, that empower me to move forward and be and become the person that I want to be now in the future. And that wraps up our week on perspective. I hope you put in the work this week to master your perspective. It truly is game changing. When you have the right perspective, or when you have an empowering perspective, it really motivates you to take action in the way of your dreams, honestly, in the way that is going to serve you in the future. Because disempowering beliefs, disempowering perspectives will only be not motivating, and you'll constantly be trying to get it up every single day, and you'll be exhausted. I mean, you're already going to be exhausted, but at least this is more energizing. You will get much more energy from empowering perspectives than you will from disempowering perspectives, and much better results as a result. So thank you so much for watching the Daily Huddle with me, Life Coach Franzani. Every week we pick a theme, and every day I discuss a topic under that theme, all around better every day. Because here, we don't hope to live a good life, we work to live our very best lives. Give yourself an amazing day, or an amazing weekend, actually. I'll see you here bright and early on Monday.